Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to get started using track changes. So track changes basically track any change you make to a document when the feature is actually turned on. So for example, if you delete anything, add anything, move or format anything, it will show. So there are three ways that you can turn on the track changes. So the first way is in the review tab, and then you can click this button here. Mine was already switched on, but it should just look grey like that. If you click on it, it turns all like a darker shade of grey, and that means it's switched on. And also you'll be able to see on the bottom menu here that it says track changes on. So let me just switch that off. The second way of doing it is actually by using the track change menu at the bottom here. If you don't have that on here, you just need to just right click on the menu, go to track changes, and just make sure that there's a tick in there, and then that will show on the bottom there. So once that does show, you can switch the track changes on and off by just clicking that. So when you switch it on, you can see that it's highlighted here. Let's switch that off. And the last way of doing it is by a keyboard shortcut, which is Control Shift and E, and as you can see, it's come on there. Okay, so let's just make a couple of changes so you can see how this works. So for instance, let's just we want the date to be the 18th, so we're going to delete that, and then we're going to put the 18th in there. Right, also let's just copy this and add another one here. Okay, just add the number there. And we'll make one more change. Let's do this one. We'll just make that facility agreement. Okay, so now you can see when you put in any when you insert any text, it does it in blue underline. When you delete any text, it does it in red stripe through. Now you can change these options if you want. If you don't want it in blue and red, you can actually change them, but it is kind of like standard to kind of leave it that, and they're easily noticeable, but you can actually change the colors, and I'll show you in a minute how you can do that. Okay, so let's just go through some of these options here. So this box here is the default is all markup, and that basically means that everything that you type will show. If you click down here, you've got simple markup, and basically that just will show you that some changes have been done, but doesn't show you exactly what they are. If you want to see exactly what they are, these red lines indicate where the changes have been made, so you can just click on that. Once you click on that, it actually will show you what the changes are. So basically once you click on that, it basically just switches on all markup, so you can see what changes have been made. So you can switch that on and switch that off as you like. We've also got in here no markup. No markup basically shows you the document as if all the track changes were accepted. So let's just type in here today's date. As you can see, it doesn't show you that it's been inserted or deleted. It just shows you the text as it normally would. But if you go back to all markup, you can see it is actually tracked, but it's just a way of just making it look clean and tidy, so you don't see all the tracks and bits and pieces. And the last one is original. Basically that is just the original document before you started making the changes to it. So if you want to see quickly what it was before, you can just quickly switch to that, but probably best just to leave it in all markup. Okay, so there are different ways that you can show the markup in the actual document. So you can go to the show markup down arrow here. It can show comments, insertions and deletions, and formatting. You can switch those off if you don't want to see any of those. The balloons section here, that basically shows you different ways that you can show the track changes in the document. So if you show revisions in balloons, it basically just shows it on the side of the document here as well as in the main document. The only reason I don't really like to use this is if you've got a lot of changes, this area on the side here can get really congested with just everything, insertions, deletions, lines pointing everywhere. So I tend not to use that, but that option is there if you prefer to see the deletions and insertions at the side menu here. So revisions is in line with what I like to use. You've also got show only comments. We haven't got any comments in this document. That will show comments and formatting. So for instance, if you made, let's say for instance this, make that bold, then that comes up. It shows any formatting on the side there, but it doesn't show any of the insertions or deletions either. So let's switch that back to show all lines in revision. Okay, in here you've also got, if say for instance you've got a document that lots of people have worked on, say some, you know, some of your colleagues have worked on it, anybody that's actually made changes to it will show up in this section here. This is I'm the only person that's actually made changes to this, so that's why it's only me here. But if you wanted to see changes that made by a particular person, you can just click their name, and it will actually just show you that person, so that you can just, you know, you can ignore everybody else. Alright, so let's go to the reviewing pane. This reviewing pane here, this is useful if you want to see how many changes and what they are I've made to a document at a glance. So basically, if you've got like a really long document, you know, 50-60 pages long, and you just want to know how many revisions there actually are, that will show you, give you a little breakdown of the revisions. Also, if you click on these, it will actually take you to wherever the revisions are. I mean, the document's only one page, so it's not really taking us anywhere, but it will, if it's like multiple pages, it will actually take you to wherever that specific change is. Now, one thing I should show you, so in this tracking group here, if you click on this down arrow here, your username. Now this is quite important, because when you right mouse click on the track changes, it normally shows you who, or if you hover over it, actually, if you hover over it, it will show you who inserted the changes. Don't know if you can see that. Let's see. So that's Microsoft 365 Skillshare, which is me. I put that change in, so it will actually show you who's put the changes, but you've got to set the name correctly. All right, so to do that, you can go this down arrow here and go change username. So if you don't want, because it's basically going to pick up the name that when you installed Word, it's going to pick up the name, whatever name it was put in there at the time, that's the name it's going to use. If you want to change it to your own name, if you're sharing Word with somebody else, I know you can get up to 6 users, so if you're sharing it with somebody else, it will automatically pick up their name. But if you want your name in it, all you need to do is to come here and then type your name in here and your initials, and make sure that this is clicked. Always use these values regardless of the sign into Office. If you don't, it will just go back and put the original person's name in here. So there's another way you can get to that as well. That's in the File, Options. It's the same screen. So there you can change the name of the person that's making the changes. Okay, so a few more options here in the tracking group. Click on the down arrow. You've got advanced options, and in here this will give you options if you want to change the colors of the insertions, deletions, or formatting bits and pieces. You can change the colors in here. So if we insert anything, you can see it's blue underline, and when you delete anything, you can see that it's red with strike through. But if you click on these down arrows, you can change it to whatever you want. So if you don't want, if you just want single underline, if you want strike through, whatever you want, you can just change it in here. You've also, if you make changes to tables, there are some options in here that you can change. Okay, so let's just press OK on that. So the next section here is how you navigate and accept changes. There are a few ways that you can accept changes. You can right mouse click and you can do accept or reject it. If you want to keep it in, you can accept it, so it just takes the track changes off. Just Control Z to undo that. If you want to reject it so that the change has never been made, you can just reject it there. Okay, so that gets rid of it. You can also do it from here, so you can accept one change and move to the next. So if you accept and move to the next, it's just going to accept it and just move to whatever's next. I'm going to undo that. You can accept all the changes in the document, so you can just click there and that will accept everything. but it will keep the track changes switched on, so that if you make any further changes, they will still be tracked. Or you can accept all and stop tracking, so that accepts everything and switches off the track changes. And that's the same with this, the same kind of principle with the reject here. So you can reject everything. Oops. You can reject everything, reject all changes and stop tracking. It just works in exactly the same way as the accept one does. This previous and next, this is like a navigation between track changes. So for instance, let's go to this one. So if you just click next, it will just literally take you to whatever the next change is. And that's quite good if you've got a lot of changes, because it's quite easy sometimes to miss some ones that aren't obvious. Like if you just change an I to an L, for instance, it might not be obvious, you might miss it if you're just looking over it. So you can just click on that, and that's going to take you through every track change, or backwards, that will take you backwards through the document. Well, that's the end of the tutorial, so thanks very much for watching. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please click the like button and subscribe so you can be notified whenever I post a new video. If there's anything you didn't understand or I didn't explain properly, please let me know in the comment section. Also let me know if there's a different way of doing things. If it's, you're putting track changes in a different way. It's always good to get other people's perspective. Please put your comments in the comment section below. If there's anything else that you want me to make a video on, also put that in the comment section below, and I'll add it to my list of videos to create. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day.